Breaking news, a full-blown war on narco terrorists. The 21st strike in international waters. The United States military is full blast on these narco terrorists from Venezuela. And they might even invade Venezuela very, very soon. I'm going to share with you some crazy footage and the talk. The United States military, the U.S.S. Gerald Ford in the Caribbean right outside the shorelines of Venezuela. They might do a ground and air invasion of Venezuela very, very soon, folks. Check it out. So the U.S. Southern Command tweeted this out November 14th, 2025. On November 10th, at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization. Intelligence confirmed that the vessel was involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, transiting along a known narco trafficking route and carrying narcotics. 4 male narco terrorists aboard the vessel were killed. The vessel was trafficking narcotics in the Caribbean Sea and was struck in international waters. And here's some of the footage here. It's crazy. 4 dead. 21 strikes so far, folks. Crazy stuff. And here's another tweet they put out. On November 16th, 2025. They say on November 15th, at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization. Intelligence confirmed that the vessel was involved in illicit narcotic smuggling, transitioning along a known narco trafficking route and carrying narcotics. 3 male narco terrorists aboard the vessel were killed. So the last one was 4, this one was 3. The vessel was trafficking narcotics in the Eastern Pacific and was struck in international waters. Eastern Pacific. The other one was the Caribbean. See? All over international waters. Narco terrorists. They're getting blasted from the sky.
I don't think that the European Union gets to determine what international law is. No, they certainly don't get to determine is how the United States defends its national security. The United States is under attack from organized criminal narco-terrorists in our hemisphere, and the president is responding in the defense of our country. I do find it interesting that all these countries want us to send, and supply, for example, nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles to defend Europe. But when the United States positions aircraft carriers in our hemisphere where we live, somehow that's a problem. So I would say that the United States is, and this president has made very clear, his job is to protect the United States from threats against the United States, and that is what he's doing in this operation.
I'm appreciative that this is the president that cares about the health and safety of Americans. He's doing everything he can to stop these drugs from coming in and killing our kids. I have grandkids. I don't want them dying because of fentanyl, cocaine, or anything else. So I'm very appreciative that this president is stopping the drugs by fixing the southern border and now going after these drug cartels wherever they are. So I'm appreciative of what he's doing. He's got it. He's doing everything he can to keep Americans safe, and Congress should not slow down what he's trying to do. Look, the thing about Maduro. Maduro's not the president. He's not the duly elected president of Venezuela. He's the head of drug cartels. It's basically a drug cartel-run country right now. So I think President Trump's doing the right thing. Congress should not slow him down.
Okay. Senator, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Shannon. Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
The United States has sent its biggest and most advanced aircraft carrier into the Caribbean Sea amid mounting speculation Donald Trump is preparing to unleash the might of America's armed forces on Venezuela in his war on drug gangs. The 1,106-foot U.S.S. Gerald R. Ford, which you see on the right of the screen here, and its strike group completed with the U.S.S. Thomas Hudner, U.S.S. Rampage, and U.S.S. Normandy join an already formidable U.S. deployment in the region as the president mulls whether to launch strikes on cartel bases in the South American nation. Venezuelan dictator Maduro has repeatedly begged for peace in recent days. But Trump is intent on crushing what he calls narco terrorists and ending the flow of cocaine and other drugs in America. U.S. forces have already carried out a wave of deadly strikes on small boats suspected of being linked to drug trafficking, with the latest coming on Saturday. So the Gerald Ford has been out there for a few weeks, folks, and looks like they might, instead of just the waterway, start advancing into Venezuela. Will be interesting. The U.S. military is showing signs of a strike on Venezuela. The U.S. Marines tweeted this out November 15th, 2025. I guess these are drills. U.S. military forces are deployed to the Carribean in support of the Southcom mission, Department of War directed operations, and the president's priorities to disrupt illicit drug trafficking and protect the homeland. And they're doing drills here in the Caribbean Sea. Drills. Look at that. Drills. Military drills. So I think a ground invasion could be happening very, very soon, folks.
In Panama and Honduras, the U.S. Army is building lasting security through trusted partnerships. Secretary Driscoll's visit highlighted that commitment. Let's jump in. In Panama, he met with U.S. Ambassador Kevin Marino Cabrera and Panamanian Minister of Public Security Frank Abrego, reinforcing cooperation in the shared responsibility of protecting the Panama Canal, a vital global trade lifeline. Through security cooperation, we train alongside Panamanian forces, strengthening deterrence and ensuring the canal's uninterrupted flow. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers continues supporting the efforts to keep the canal reliable for future generations. At Aeronaval Base Cristobal Colon, also known as Fort Sherman, history has evolved into partnership. The Jungle Operations Training Center now stands as a combined mission with Panama's security institutions, training shoulder to shoulder in survival and tactics. The training is growing, and the future is bright. Before departing Panama, Secretary Driscoll also met with U.S. Army Special Operations Forces embedded with Panamanian units for years, an enduring partnership built on trust, expertise, and building combat capabilities. One jungle, one team. In Honduras, Secretary Driscoll visited Soto Cano Air Base, home to Joint Task Force Bravo, a cornerstone of U.S. engagement in Central America. He met with troops, recognized outstanding service, and re-enlisted a dedicated NCO, a reminder that the Army's greatest strength is its people. This visit was more than symbolic. It sends a message. Partnerships endure, stability strengthens, and together we're bolstering regional security. Thanks for watching.
Update on Venezuela, Mr. President? On Venezuela, update?
No update on Venezuela.
With the designation of that cartel associated with Maduro, does that mean that the U.S. government can target Maduro's assets or infrastructure inside Venezuela?
It allows us to do that, but we haven't said we're going to do that. And we may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
Mr. President, Representative
Maduro is in big trouble, folks. Now he's panicking. Now he wants to speak to the Trump administration. For all these years, narco terrorists would use the international waters to ship drugs onto U.S. soil. Not anymore, folks. Now you got organizations that are saying, well, you can't shoot them from the sky and kill them without due process. They're terrorists, folks. By all means necessary, they are stopping the drugs from coming onto U.S. soil. And I think they're going to do a ground invasion to get rid of the crops where all the cocaine and illegal drugs grow, and annihilate them. Strikes, whether it's drone or from the air, and possibly a ground invasion. The army is circling around Venezuela, training. The military is putting out lots of tweets and social media posts showing and flexing I think there is some intimidation here to let Venezuela know we're not playing in the United States on this. So I don't know why Venezuela, this is the 21st strike. I don't know why Venezuela continues to try to test the U.S. These ships are getting struck. Now there's so much air power and military in the Caribbean. They got their eyes everywhere. I don't think any terrorists going to be able to get through. Plus, folks, on the southern border, the U.S. Coast Guard is patrolling the area to stop this type of shipment coming in through the southern border. So it is getting real out there, folks, with the war against narco-terrorism, the terrorist. And then the State Department keeps labeling all these organizations there terrorist organizations. Whoa! We will definitely be watching here. Will they overtop the, president there, the dictator? We shall see here. CIA going to get involved here. A lot of unknowns, but a lot of craziness too. Let me know what you think. Do you support it or you don't support it? Let me know in the comments. Woo, we've never seen this in our lifetime. Things have significantly changed, and the Trump administration is not playing around. I am JLR Investigates. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.